way back the other day, and I heard myself whistle. I'm like, I can't do that again. It's so annoying. I feel bad for people.
Kevin's a DJ.
Boom, there we are. Jeremy Knight, your favorite Real Amigo host. Welcome to the channel, everyone. We have a wonderful show tonight. I have some wonderful guests. I would surprise you and say, oh, here we go. It's the Benevolent Beret, my homie with the magic mullet, and then Sarah Morris, but they're already on screen. So welcome, everybody. How are you all doing tonight?
Great.
Good.
Awesome.
Great. Amazing.
How are you enjoying Cinco de Mayo?
Wait, is that now?
Yeah, it's
It
today.
is right now.
Oh, yeah, that's how I'm enjoying it.
Hey, you know, Taco Cabana has pickled flavored margaritas for $2 right now.
Oh, yeah. That doesn't sound delicious at all. CBS Customs, what's up, buddy? Good to see you again. All right, so we got a fun show tonight. I brought Sarah back on. A lot of times we get a lot of lender questions, and Sarah has actually just saved a deal for me. I had a client that was using an outside lender, and last minute the lender is like, nope, we can't do this, whatever, see ya, have a good day, gone. And Sarah came in like Batman and saved the day. So happy to have you back, Sarah. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing great. Loving life.
Yeah.
It's just crazy right now. With, you know, summer and the market and everything, but going good.
Awesome. So one of the biggest things that, you know, is driving this crazy market is interest rates. And somebody pointed out to me that interest rates actually just went back down. Is that true?
It is. And it's really funny because all the projections were showing that interest rates were going to go up, and especially in May, once the year-over-year inflation numbers came out, which still haven't come out yet, it's going to cause interest rates to go up. But the thing is that the Fed has not tapered off their buying of bonds. So because they haven't tapered off like they expected they would, it's allowed the interest rates to continue getting better. But I would say don't get complacent. If you have a rate that you love, take it before it does start going the other way, because I think some people are like, oh, great, now we're back to normal again. But that's not the case. Enjoy it. This is a nice, happy circumstance we find ourselves in, but I don't expect this to be the new normal and typical.
Awesome. What'd I do? Oh, no. Nailed it. Okay, I found it. No, I have not been drinking, believe it or not. I literally got out of the pool like 20 minutes ago and had to eat. So fun times. So that's why my eyes are red. It's not anything else. Although Kevin's eyes look pretty red. All right. So Master Jedi's back.
Yeah,
you know,
headphones on his ears.
I think we need Dinosaur D to take the Buc-ee's logo and put a mullet on it, because that would fit our logo better. In fact, that's what we should do. We should rip off the Buc-ee's logo, put my face with that hat and a mullet, and that should be the logo. Ian, what were you thinking, man?
I mean, yours is I think it's a mane. Like if that's a mullet and I've got the beret, yours is more like a mane. Right? I think it's cool, man. I think it works. It's definitely identifiable. I'll call it that.
Well, speaking of the logo, I put in the comments the link for the merch store. So definitely check that out. I'll pull that up here in un momento once I can do some things in the back end. You know, boom, boom, biggity, boom, boom. So here we go, merch store. Oh, I love that.
Nice.
Oh man, we got some cool merch. You came up with this stuff. I'm gonna have to get me this tank top right here, man. I'm not lying.
I know.
Definitely not an extra small though. That's awesome. All right, Ian, thanks, man, for putting that together. So yes, the merch store is up. You can start rocking some gear. I'm gonna buy about 80 shirts now and just start handing them out. Oh, Joel says that the logo is really good. Thanks, Joel, man. Good to see you. All right, so buy merch. I would appreciate it. Kevin doesn't care. He's not even there anymore. So There you go. All right. So, hey, so let's get into the topic. I didn't want to waste too much time to get into the topic. So, what I'm hearing from most people now is this market's insane. I don't want to buy in Austin anymore. I can't compete. What are some of the things that you're hearing from people? Are you getting people backing out of the market? What's going on with some of the people you're hearing?
I'll start.
Yeah,
I think we're talking to you. I think.
Well, I know so I have a lot of borrowers, well, quite a few, I won't say necessarily a lot yet, but that started in this market, and it was just, they had to offer too much over asking, and they just didn't have that much, and it was getting them into an uncomfortable range for them. So I have borrowers that have gone out to Bernie, that have gone up to Frisco, looking in Dallas, Fort Worth area, because it was just a better price point for them. Corpus, Temple. Really, I've had quite a few people that want something in like the 300 range, especially, that are moving out to those different markets because they're finding a home that they're comfortable with a more comfortable monthly payment for them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hearing that too. What are you guys hearing, Ian and K-Dog?
Same stuff right now. I do have some folks that are really nervous about, going really hard in just to get the houses. And I can understand that. We've had some really challenging results from appraisal standpoint. We've missed a couple recently, but not by much, but it's enough to be pretty frustrating. And I understand the uncomfortable situation where that's the unknown. I think some people would be a little bit less, leery to go in and really get the house that they wanted, but that unknown, especially if you're strapped on cash, they don't want to come out of pocket for a lot of extra cash. That might be equivalent, if they have a low cash down loan, it might be equivalent to what they're putting down on the house. And they just don't have that. I mean, I can respect that. So we're tiptoeing into the market in ways like that, but I find that's one of the biggest concerns right now.
What about you, Ian?
I'm in kind of a different situation. I have had people back out of the market. They were excited, and then they were deflated. But then last week, what I noticed is that we had about double the inventory show up. Right. And so I'm sure that's going to come up later in the conversation. But it was kind of, I'll say a little exciting. But I don't know that everyone was there to take advantage of that. That's a big deal.
So the whole point of this, is it too late to back out, or is it too late to be buying in Austin? Right? Did you miss the boat? Actually, I did a thumbnail that was like a boat leaving with a house on top of it, but it looked like a houseboat, so it made no sense. I'm not super artistic, so. But is it too late? So, because we keep hearing people that are kind of leaving the market, they're done with this. They can't compete. Obviously, there's a myriad of issues. What can people start doing to actually start buying this market, or is it just done? Are we done?
And there are all sorts of things. One, right. I think the first thing I would say is if a house has been on the market through a weekend for 5 days, look at it. Because if you've been trying to get in this market and you've had nothing but bad luck or a hard time, look at something that's been on the market just a little bit longer. It doesn't mean you're going to get it at a discount, is what sometimes people might expect, but you could end up getting a deal that someone else may have missed. Especially so like this week, if there's been double the inventory, well, it was beautiful outside. A lot of people were out at the Domain hanging out. Well, so if they're down hanging out and they're not spending their time looking for houses, that's your opportunity. Take advantage of it. And with lower interest rates right now.
That's a good point. Kevin, do you think there's more inventory on the horizon?
Yeah, I mean, and I hope that there is. I've had a couple of people, even what Ian said about seeing more homes. Yes, there have been more inventory homes, but for the clients that I'm with right now, it's nothing that they're interested in. And this is not like one specific group of clients. This is a pretty broad range of clients. So I had a feeling it would come down to this at some point. And I've seen this in the past too. So I think the neighbors that come by and say, hey, we can just throw our house up on the market. We're going to get whatever we want for it. I think that you're going to start seeing sellers be kind of lazy and they're going to put just stuff on the market that doesn't look very good, and it's overpriced, drastically overpriced. And
I think we've already seen that though. I think we've talked about that on the channel, that like we'll see multi-million-dollar homes with like 8 photos done by a cell phone. It's like,
not even a good cell phone.
They look terrible. But what I see is like a lot of stuff like that. So, the good houses are still going to have crazy multiple offers. And like, I think what some of these that don't go in the first week, but the sellers have unrealistic expectations about what they think that they're going to get. Because it's both, like you guys can attest. We see unrealistic prices on both sides, right? You see a house that's listed for $250 that's worth $400, and you see a home that's worth $400 and is listed for $500, right? So like we're all navigating this together, trying to figure out where, like, is this one of these houses that you do go 100 over? Because your client's asking you like, hey, I've heard we have to go 100 over every house, but this one seems really expensive. So I think it's always going to be kind of confusing. Yes, I'm plugging for us as experienced realtors. This is why it's so important to have a realtor help you navigate that. So you're not like automatically doing this because your friend said to do it.
So I want to make a quick point. So we listed a property on Friday. Typically what I tell clients that are listing, I say, hey, look, we're going to put your house on the market on Thursday. We're going to try to limit and do no showings Thursday. Friday through Sunday, you got to get an Airbnb and be out of town. This one I just listed, they had to be in town. So I listed on Friday. I put the notes. The only time you can see this home is 10 to 5 on Saturday. I felt bad doing that. I know that could potentially limit what my client was going to get. And I explained the ramifications of what we were doing, but they were fine because they really didn't it just wasn't a situation where they're going to go spend, a few $100 on Airbnb. We had on that property before 3 p.m, sight unseen. I had offers. We listed around 300 into the 400s, sight unseen. And so it was interesting to me. So we ended up getting like 20, I would have had probably closer to 30 offers, but some agents are getting smart and actually calling like, hey, this is what we're going to offer. Are we even in the ballpark? Yeah. And I'll still have clients that are like, I don't care. I want to put in my, 5,000 over list price. But I was so confused why agents would not call me, would not reach out to me, would not ask any questions, and just put in a $300,000 offer or a 310 offer or a 330 offer. Like, I get it. Like, we're listed at 300, but in this market, it's crazy. So, I mean, if they would just a simple phone call, being like, hey, we're probably going to put an offer around 350. What do you think? I've been like, okay, yeah, you're 50 grand below. And that's why I stopped getting so many offers, is because once we started getting offers in the 400s, like a few agents were actually calling and asking. So I think that's one of the things that just blew my mind the most, is like how many agents were out there just throwing in just spaghetti at the wall and wasting their time. Have you seen that on your listings? Have you seen that with clients just want you to throw in like just a low offer to begin with? Well, I apologize. Not a low offer, but not get enough information to write, an offer that's competitive.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it just depends on the client. I think we've all got clients that are in different situations, and anybody that's listening and watching to this, your situation is going to be unique to you as well. So you knew what you can and can't feel comfortable with. So it's your budget can get you so much home, but in some cases, like you have no choice. Like, that's the home that you want and that's your budget. So you're like telling your agent, hey, this is all I have to offer. Would you just please do it? And I think you do that, but that's why you're seeing probably those offers, is because that's just all they're going to get. And they're kind of going through the motions. But yes, I'm not wasting my clients' time as much as I possibly can anymore, because I am making those calls for people and saying, hey, what do I got to do here? And I'm not just saying so I can win the deal, although I want to win the deal. Like, I want to see if it's even worth wasting my time. And in many cases, it's not anymore. And I love it when the agents are just like, bro, here's what you have to marginally compete with. So if you're not in this range, we're not even going to consider it. And then I'm like, great, we're not going to waste anybody's time. We're just not going to submit anything.
So one of the things that I've started doing when I call listing agents on my borrower's behalf is I ask them, what is most important to your seller? Because that's important, right? Because there are sellers out there, especially investors, are like, bottom line. I only care about my bottom line.
And you
then,
do this from the lending side, correct?
what?
I mean, you're on the lending side, so
Yes.
you're actually calling listing agents on behalf of your client in order to try to help your buyer in a multiple offer.
Correct. Yes.
Wow,
And try to
okay.
help them, and try to help them win the deal, and also get any information I can to help out my realtor and my client, you know, to maybe change their deal up or change their offer. So there was one 2 weeks ago. I called someone and they actually didn't want someone to come in and tear down and ruin their house. The sellers actually cared about having a family come in there and be a good family in the neighborhood and not cause ruckus and not party and all this stuff, which is rare in this market. And so I was able to turn around and tell my my borrower, my realtor, so they could kind of play that up because that was what they wanted. And it helped them win the deal. So, I mean, it's a simple question. If I can just do that one thing, it doesn't always work. But if I can get any additional information to help my client out or to help my, referral partner out, I'm going to do it. But that's what I ask to try to field it out.
I want to jump in and say, Sarah, that is incredible. So I probably, I was going to say, I probably get, for every listing, let's say for every 10 offers, I might get one lender that'll call me. Might. So I love that. That's really good. And that's important for anybody who's watching to pay attention to. Mm-hmm. What does your lender do for you?
It makes a big difference too, doesn't it?
It does.
My lender called.
Oh, hi.
Listen, my lender actually held one up on a super jumbo today. He held one up for me that I thought was going to be, and he went in and he went to the listing agent and he, gave her a really good reassurance to my client and the appraisal generally and held that deal together. So yeah, it makes a huge difference when you have somebody like Sarah that's advocating for you in addition to your realtor.
And you have to ask yourself, if it's Saturday or if it's 7:00 at night and you're not doing a live, what lender is going to be able to answer the phone and be there for you? Mm-hmm. Who's going to care for you that much?
Is Quicken going to do that or not Quicken? What's the name of it? Yeah, Quicken Loans.
Yeah, that's one of them.
They're going to Rocket Mortgage. Are they going to do that? Probably not.
They're not going to do that. They don't care.
They're not going to do
that. No. Chase. So to answer this question, Dinosaur D, I always list homes. I know I'm moving to Austin as my channel and guy, but we list a lot of homes too. I just don't. Here's the thing. I don't like to put when a property goes under contract, I don't like to put it like those people are like, oh, under contract until we're out of option. And then I'll do stuff like that. Yeah. And I've been busy, so I don't always do that on Instagram either. So anyway, going back to Sarah, sorry. So Sarah just saved a contract. Here's the deal. Like, we've always tried to bring people on the channel that bring value. And I don't know if I said this at the beginning of the show or off air, but Sarah just saved a deal for me where literally the lender just threw their hands up in the air. I was like, whatever, no big, like, I can't do this. And for whatever, like, Sarah, do you even understand why the hell they would do that? I'm still baffled that they did that.
No, because I got the reasoning. Like, I had the email forwarded to me. Like, this is the reason why they said that it wasn't allowed and it was against Fannie and Freddie and all this stuff. And I was just like, they're nuts. That's not the rule. Like, that makes no sense. And I have no clue. Unless they had an internal company overlay and they were trying to say it was something else. But we definitely got that done. We got the CTC yesterday, and we turned that around in 7-10 days. So yay!
So the whole point of this video is to talk about, is it too late? And I think, this is a good point here, is that you have a lot of sellers just like Aaron here that they bought a property at 235, right? Now their house is worth $450K. Are they thinking about selling? Are you having sellers that are still just like, you know what, I'm staying in Austin? What can a seller do in this market? Because number one, the problems are builders are being, I almost cussed. Builders are being real shitheads. Oh, dang, I did it anyway. With what they're doing, they keep making the excuse that it's lumber costs. Look, the buyer's paying the lumber cost. So I get it that if you put a contract now and the lumber costs go up, but that's dumb. So do sellers have an out if they are considering to sell right now, or do they have to leave? Come on, Kevin. I thought you had something quick.
I'm muted. Sorry about that. I didn't hear your question either.
All right, Ian, you got an answer for
No,
me?
I was listening to you. I didn't understand what you were asking me to.
I have no idea what I'm saying right now, man. I'm
You
telling
said something about sellers backing out of contracts.
Yeah,
So
like
sell-
was it you were
No,
talking about
no,
like
I'm
do
just
they have
saying
Should they
sellers
sell
right
now?
Yeah. Should sellers still think about selling right now?
Oh yeah,
Because they're
yeah,
part
yeah.
of the
Oh.
they're part of the cog, right? That is part of the issues. The 4 issues right now are obviously loans or interest rates are so low. People are moving here to leave other states. I'm actually doing a video on that that's on Sunday that's dropping. Lumber costs, builders are not building right now, and then sellers have nowhere to go. So are there opportunities for sellers right now, or are they just kind of stuck where they are? They just build another deck.
They should be. I mean, what are they like? I've said this 100 times, right? What are you going to do? What are you going to do with the capital that you're going to get out of your sale? Like, are you going to have proceeds? Probably. Are you planning on upgrading your home sometime in the near future? If you're going to upgrade your home sometime, literally ever, unless it's like 20 years from now, you should probably be doing that sooner rather than later, because it's not just us. Real estate industry experts in this country are saying this is not a fluke.
Right.
This is not a bubble. This is the state of our market right now. And I'm not just, I understand experts don't always get it right? And people are like, oh, this is a bubble. This is a bubble. Like, we can go into hours of conversation how it's not. But like, if you're going to be upgrading, you need to do it soon. You need to sell that house now and get into the other house that you're going to be in, no matter where it is in this country.
Yeah, and here's a good point. So everybody's saying lumber. So I heard something, and I don't know how true this is. I haven't investigated enough, but there's something to do with tariffs right now in lumber, that Canadian companies purchased a lot of the sawmills and everything, and so there's a lot of issues with tariffs. Is partly why lumber is costing this much. Have you heard that?
I mean, I hear all sorts of things, but I don't know what's actual.
Yeah.
Right?
All right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, I understand. I know lumber costs are crazy, of course, but like, I don't know. I mean, there's the builders who think using that as an excuse, and it's a good one.
That's a good answer right
to
there.
keep cranking up prices for the rest of the time that they can. Like, why wouldn't they, guys? Like, if you're a business, and don't act like you don't do it. Like I don't know, pick any provider, Coke. What do they even still sell soda in 12-ounce cans, or is it 11.5 ounces now? You know, like I'm saying, like they downsize products to increase profit margin. They make them cheaper. I bought a blender 10 years ago. I know this is a stupid story, but I bought a blender 10 years ago, and it was cool and it was cheap and it worked really well. I bought the exact same blender, same model, same everything like a year ago, and now it's a piece of garbage. It's the same blender, but they made it. They're like, how can we squeeze like another $1 out of this transaction? And that's what the builders are doing, and they're just using this as an excuse to pad their bottom line. And you would do it the same way, I think, if you were in that situation that they're in. I think, you know, because they're not prioritizing integrity over shareholder return.
That's a good point Christina made.
Yeah, about the ports of entry. Yeah. Christina Smallhorn, welcome to the channel. And Master Jedi pulled earlier said he pulled a catfish right now. So yeah, I mean, somebody posted a good question here, said something earlier. Oh yeah, here we go. Builders are not going to reduce price when lumber prices go down.
Of course
Hell
they're
no.
not.
They're
Why
not
would
going
they do
to.
that?
Right.
But what's going to happen is things start to stabilize a little bit. Right now, they're doing all this stuff to try to cut realtors out because they're trying to capitalize in this market. 6 months, 8 months from now, they're going to be crying for our help again. Maybe 10 months from now, but they're going to be crying for our help again.
I've seen a lot of builders posting new inventory upcoming. A lot of them.
And that's a good question. All right. So the whole point of this video is it too late?
Yeah.
I'm starting to, my team anyway, we're starting to be able to capitalize on some of these builders, right? So we're seeing like DR Horton as an example. We're kind of starting to crack the code on how to write offers for these. So we've actually had 3 or 4 go under contract in the last couple weeks with like DR Horton. So they send out like today, they sent me a thing saying, hey, we have this neighborhood. These are the floor plans we're going. In fact, I posted on my Instagram, somebody, sent me a text. Janie sent me a text saying one of our clients went under contract with DR. So I think people are starting to crack the code on some of these builders. There's going to be more inventory there. Also, I think, agents are starting to communicate more. And that was the whole point of what I was saying about, I was baffled by agents not calling me to find out where we are at. I think agents that are communicating more are landing deals. Yes, they're going well over list price, but you're still landing deals. And do you see this flattening out in the next 3 or 4 months? Do we see some more inventory? So should people really be holding on for more inventory? Ian.
Yeah, I think right now, I don't know if we're in a dip, right? Like where there's a lot of inventory right now, and the next week we're going to go back to it just being ridiculous again because all those houses are going to be eaten up. So that's where I'm at. I'm not sure. Last week was a complete surprise for me.
I don't know. Like, again, on the lending side, I did see an influx of people going under contract the last 2 weeks, and it was kind of crazy and a nice surprise. But I'm not going to take that as here's the new normal. I'm going to take that as like, I'm so happy for these folks and we're lucky. I think that we're going to continue. We have pent up buyers. We're going to have a massive increase of first-time home buyers hit the market soon. So I think that, demand is going to keep going even higher. So even if we are able to get some more supply on the market, great. But I mean, we're still going to have a massive divide between supply and demand where it's still going to be cutthroat, in my opinion.
She got it. She nailed it.
I think it was just a short dip, but yes, it'll come back hot and heavy. There's still a lot of people moving here. Right?
And 1 week is not a trend, right?
No.
Exactly. one week of 600 homes being listed is definitely not a trend, or even 2 weeks or even 3 weeks. Like this is the normal. This is the normal ebb and flow of the real estate transactions throughout the year. Like this is our peak season. We should be seeing
summer.
Yeah, cadence. That's right. That should be more listings right now, right?
So, I mean, part of that is we had the 2020 virus that screwed up our whole cycle last year, right? There was no inventory September, October. So prices started going crazy in November, December, and then just out of control the beginning of the year. But if you think about it, we are now hopefully back in another cycle. Do you think that, we start to see some more of that inventory towards, July, August, September that we normally see, and prices flatten out for that reason?
I mean, price flattening, I don't think that's even a thing.
I agree with Kevin. Like, I don't think that the prices are going to flatten out. If anything, I think they're going to be the same or continue to get worse because of the influx, more people coming into the market and relocating on top of everything else. And I think it's going to continue to drive prices higher, to be honest. But as far as more inventory, I think possibly because that could be normal, but I don't think it's going to affect prices flattening out personally.
Let me tell you this. We lost another, I didn't even write the offer. Listed $599. This weekend, listed $599. Client told me you got to go X number of percent over. That percentage put you at like $800,000. I mean, that's $200,000 over asked. Like our price is going to decrease. I mean, we were $200,000 over asked, which means that somebody was wild enough to pay that, which means that there were multiple people wild enough to pay something pretty close to that, right? So yeah, this is not, it's not changing anytime soon. Like we said this week after week.
So I got a question that's kind of out of left. Oh, go ahead, Sarah.
Oh, I was going to say that question about the Fed rate that you just popped up there.
Yeah.
The Fed rate has nothing to do with interest rates. And that's a big misconception a lot of people have. So just because the Fed decided to keep things at zero or wanted to, might start actually increasing the Fed rate over the next couple of years, that has nothing to do with interest rates. It's a totally different rate. So it's a great question. Not the same thing.
Yeah. Okay. So are you seeing, so I had a question about this. So, Freddie says that, Century Homes in Crystal Falls is going to their bidding. So we're seeing a lot of these builders go to bidding, right? Are you seeing people being forced to use the builder's lenders in order to win that offer, Sarah? Or are you still able to kind of swoop in and save somebody on a builder loan?
I'm sorry, can you repeat part of that question? It froze for a minute.
Yeah, no worries. So what we're seeing right now is some of these builders, when they're doing bidding like this, they want you to have a pre-approval with their lender. Are you still seeing it, or are you seeing it where builders are just icing you out completely? And if a buyer says, hey, I want to use the builder's lender, or I want to use my outside lender, are they getting their transactions like canceled, or are you still able to like come in and still help if somebody wants to use you in a build?
Yeah, no, great question. I actually have I have a lot of new construction deals right now, and I do see where I have that conversation actually with my client up front, and we figure out pretty quickly if they're going to be doing new construction or resale. And I let them know that typically when you do new construction, the builder is going to require that you go through the process with their lender. It does not mean you have to use them. And so I'm just preparing you for that, just so you know. And then once that happens, I mean, very few builders are actually giving any sort of incentives whatsoever at this point. And the few that are, it's things that, we're able to like match, or we're better anyway, because we don't have like padded fees and things like that. And we give better service and we close on time. But anyway, I'm still able to keep the majority of those clients. And usually it's just, a technicality that they have to go through that just to get the home. Very rarely does it go the other way. I mean.
So this next question is going to be out of left field, right? Now, let me preface this and set this up. So a lot of the comments are, it's not going to slow down. It's not going to slow down. Too many people, somebody just posted or wrote in the comments about investors are still waiting to buy. Here we go. Great point, by the way. I love this comment. Investors are still waiting in the wings. Let me ask you a question. So in a video that's gonna be coming out on Sunday on my channel, I reviewed a video that was through CNN talking about the political reasons people are moving to states, moving to Texas. It was Texas in particular. One thing that just popped up on my radar in this, so this is where I'm trying to set this up. Sorry, it's long, but there is a recall effort right now with the governor of California. If there is, by some chance, that someone else is picked and the governor leaves and somebody else comes in, do you think that might give people pause that were leaving for maybe political reasons? Obviously, the 2020 stuff. Do you think that might limit and slow down some of the actual people moving from California? I want to hear from you in the chat too. If you're moving from California and a new governor is taking over, that maybe not have been the same party that's currently, or just not close to the current governor, would you take pause and maybe stay in California? But anyway, the question was, with potential governor change in California, do you think that might slow down some of the movement to Texas, to Austin?
Who's that directed toward?
It's an open question, bud. Whoever wants to step up to the plate and smash this question out of the park, that's who it goes to.
I do like that question. I think there are a subset of people that overly concern themselves with some of the local policies and how quickly that will impact their decision to relocate.
So everyone that I've talked to, like that are relocating in California, they're doing it because of taxes. And it's less.
Yeah, but when will that change happen, right?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, you said so they're leaving because of taxes.
Yeah, they're leaving because
right.
Texas doesn't have state tax.
Exactly. And what's a new governor going to do for that anytime in the near future? Right.
Yeah. So unless California completely decides to change and get rid of state tax, everyone that I've talked to, that's their main reason for moving here. So that from the lending side.
Yeah. So I watch, I don't know if you watch, I like to watch a lot of investment podcasts, but Valuetainment or PBD, they had somebody who was on for, running for the recall. And so that was one of the questions they asked. And I thought, that's actually a decent question to ask. So if you look at the chats, a lot of people are saying, no, I don't think politics has anything to do with why they're leaving. So that's
well, there's never one. Well, there's never one reason for anything though, right? Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
I mean, you actually, I just had this conversation with somebody today. Usually what it is no matter what you're talking about, like somebody in your life that annoys the crap out of you, it's not like they say one thing and then you just blow up on them. Usually it's pent up everything. And then at some point, it's like a snap of a finger. The last thing puts you over the edge. I think Californians they're not just like, if taxes were that big of a deal, they would have left a long time ago, or they just wouldn't have moved here in the first place. Like there's enough good going on. I mean, you've been to California. Yeah. It's a cool place.
So what I think is so interesting about that particular statement you made, Kevin, you said if people from California were worried about the taxes, they would have moved a long time ago. Well, we have to think about the generation that's buying, right? So these are people that a lot of people didn't necessarily have houses before.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a large subset of people this is the first time they're going through purchasing a home, tech or whatever.
Yeah.
And so now they're like, oh gosh, I can't do this. I grew up in LA, but if I really want to buy a house and generate that familial wealth, then I might need to relocate somewhere because income taxes hurt.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay. So now let's look at the flip side of that question too, right? Taxes are an issue for people. Some people, politics, maybe not. But obviously all the lockdown stuff that happened, we were a little more open, and that's kind of what this video talks about as well. But here's where I hear a lot of people say, like this comment right here now from Austin, great comment. I moved because I can't throw down $1 million cash for a first home. The median price in Austin now is $518,000. So we're like, when I left San Diego in 2013, we're at San Diego prices right now. So will that start slowing people down from buying here as well?
The prices in San Diego? Oh, you mean
I'm talking about the prices here. I mean, the median price in Austin is now like 500 something. I mean, really, I have clients that want to buy a house for 700. They want 3,500 square feet. I'm like, that's going to be tough.
I mean, I did meet a guy the other night that he was visiting from San Diego, and I was like, why don't you move to Austin? He's like, I mean, I live in San Diego. And I was like, I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair, right?
I mean, I can't argue with that, and I'm not going to judge. I don't want everybody to move here. I mean, I want a lot of people to move here, but I don't want every single person to be like, Austin's the greatest city ever, and everywhere else sucks. We know that's not true, right? People like different things.
Yeah, there's always Houston, so we know it sucks.
You got to think about what the break-even point is for somebody, and that value versus their quality of life, right? So you might have slightly better weather in San Diego, and the food is, debatable, those sorts of things. But is it worth, let's say, an extra $400,000 a year, or $400,000 on a property? People are figuring that out. They're like, you know what? If I can pay double, I would love this. I would love to stay where I'm at. But I think a lot of people have said in the comments too. Also, it's not just tax. That's a big factor. But like Kevin had said, you stack it on. It becomes multiple things. It could be that plus policies plus just any number of factors.
You know what?
Opportunity. All the companies are leaving. Like they're working in tech and everybody's relocating. Well, what are you supposed to do unless you're working remote?
Jeremy just made a good point though. He's like, oh, and one of you guys said that about people buying, like they're buying for the first time, right? The people that were in California, they didn't necessarily buy before. Well, I was in the kitchen doing my thing, scooping up, making food, thinking, wait a second, millennial. Okay, so the average age of someone's first home purchase is actually 33, right? That's the average age of the person. Well, if you chop up the millennial time frame, millennials are 81 to 96. Yeah. The median, the literal bell curve median age for millennials right now is, guess what? It's 33.
Nice.
So you're seeing now a generation that the boomers have told can't buy houses, and they're going to have to rent. They're all like, screw you, I'm going to go buy a house now. So I think one of the things that you're seeing is not just, I think that it's a culmination of a lot of economic factors, but I believe that we would have seen a huge boost in real estate purchases now anyway, because a lot of millennials are now at a strong buying age where they're making good money and they're shifting their preferences. Like they're less interested in some of the things that other generations have been interested in. I'm not saying they're not interested in cars and things like that, but now I think a lot of people, and I'm a millennial, I can relate to this.
You're like 46. You're not a millennial.
I'm an elder millennial, as they would call
I'm an
it.
elder millennial.
Yeah, I paved the way for the rest of you youngins. But I think we're more interested in, like, we want to have a really cool phone and a nice computer and have fun with our friends, and we don't care about a lot of the other stuff, right? We want to spend so we want to have a nice house now too. Like, we like nice things and spend a little bit more on the things that we want. Well, millennials, they see these nice homes on Instagram, and now they want to be to Austin because they want an Instagram-worthy home. These things were going to happen anyway. It just so happens that the rest of the economic factors have amplified this.
That's actually a really great point. So I was talking to Paul from Allstate. I call him Paul State, my insurance guy. He said he was talking to one of his lenders today, and the lender's like, yeah, I can't find processors. I can't find, and you rattle off all these like jobs that people aren't filling anymore. And he's like, think about it. My daughters are better off just starting a YouTube channel. He's got 4 daughters, by the way, so feel sorry for him. 4 daughters. He's like, my daughters are better off just starting a YouTube channel and doing just stupid YouTube stuff. And I'm like, yeah, and they can sell merch. Speaking of selling merch,
stupid YouTube.
You can buy this really cool tank top at the merch store. But I mean, but think about it. Millennials now don't want to do some of those jobs. So we're going to see people like Sarah's processor and assistants are like, nah, I'd rather be an Instagram model, which by the way, I'm an Instagram model on Instagram, just so you're aware. Yeah. But so do you think that'll change kind of the dynamic too of what people are doing in the future? And how would that actually, I know this might be a stupid question, but how does that affect, purchasing power in the future for some of these people? Millennials, Gen X's, Gen Z's? I don't know.
One of those. I mean, I'm definitely seeing a lot more folks come through that are 1099 and self-employed. That have developed their own businesses, have their startups, and it's actually kind of funny because I had someone come to me that I went to college with who got a law degree because we were in pre-law together, and then he decided that he would want to be have his own YouTube channel. So and now he quit law and he has a successful YouTube channel. And it's just nuts to me. But anyway, to go back to your question, yes, a lot of the millennials or like the whatever generation it is that's younger than millennials are coming in, and they are having their own businesses and, working from home, and they care more about having nice things. And that's something that I haven't seen on my end.
So check this out. I was talking, I had a buyer consult today, and I asked the guy, I was like, what's your price point? He goes, 400,000. I was like, great. Talk about debt. No car, rents a car, and then drives for Uber or Lyft, and covers the cost of the car and still profits off of it. I was like, wow, okay, that's pretty great.
That actually changed today too. You heard about that, right?
No, I didn't.
That I guess Biden's making it so Uber and Lyft have to consider the people that drive employees now instead of independent contractors.
Oh, that's a huge change.
That's gonna suck.
Yeah, it sucked. There's that tank their stocks because, like, obviously they're going to have to restructure the entire business. Right?
Yeah.
I, of course, love the independent contractor model. So that's just what it was. Anyways.
So I had a question. Sarah wants to complain about Biden here in a minute. So don't forget that Sarah wants to complain about Biden. Property taxes. So do you think, we saw the largest, I just did a video on this. We saw the largest property tax increase probably in history in Austin. Aaron's been on here just hitting it hard saying that hers, I don't know, Aaron. Property taxes went up 37%. My property taxes went up like 23% on one property, 13% on another. And then our South Padre place, I don't know, probably like 20% on that one. So do you think that's going to limit to what people can buy, A, and then B, do you think that's going to stop? It's going to maybe put some people going, you know what, maybe Austin's not affordable, especially since houses are $500,000 median price. Sarah, go first.
So this is what I think. I think it's just going to further divide who moves here. I think that you're going to have the folks that come here where they have lots of assets and lots of money and they make great income, and that's not going to make up their mind one way or another because they have money to burn and they're in a certain, tax bracket where that's okay. But I think it's going to further divide from the first time home buyers or the folks that have only, minimum down payment to put down, or your government loan folks, that it's going to further price them out of the market, where they are going to be forced to, move somewhere else or buy someone else. So I think, it's just going to further create that divide of the type of buyer that you have coming here.
What do you guys think? Y'all, sorry.
I of course, I mean, what's the old phrase? The death and taxes kind of deal, right? So like, I probably care a lot less about that because I understand it's just the cost of doing business. Like it's the
Do you
cost
own
of
a property?
I own a few.
Right. Do you own a property in Austin though?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it
so when your
matter.
property taxes go up and you're now you have to raise the rent, right? I know this rent, well, we can talk about the rental market, but you have to factor that in. And if you're not making money on a property, what do? Do you sell it? Do you keep it? Like, what do you do?
That's totally different because I don't, making money on a property is not my priority. Like making cash flow. Like I don't buy rental homes to make cash flow. Like what's the most you can make if you come?
But hold on one second, just to push back. Every time I get an investor email me, I want to buy a house for $350. I'm going to finance and I want cash flow.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine.
Freaking time.
And then they call me and then I talk them down off the ledge and they're like, oh, okay. That makes a lot more sense because like wealth is not cash flow. Okay. Wealth is equity. Like true wealth is equity. If you need, like generally speaking, a good number for return on door, even in a good cash flow situation, if you bought a house at market price in Austin before the craziness and with property taxes, principal and interest in a marginal reserve fund, you would maybe make $100 a door. $100. Do you need $100 a month? Like if you need $100 a month, then why are you buying a $400,000 house? Like you're not getting rich off of $100 a month.
But then next year the property taxes go up and now it's going to be costing you $500 a month.
But the rent should go up commensurate of the same increase. But even if it doesn't, even if it costs you like, okay, even if that costs you money every month, it's not necessarily a cost. It is a long-term investment into something that's always going to have, it's an investment vehicle. It's always going to have equity in your pocket. True wealth is equity. And so if you look at your portfolio 20 years from now, if it costs you $100 a month, but now you have at that time, what will that be? I know it's crazy for us to say because every house can't be $1 million, but actually in 20 years, it might be. $1 million might be just the total normal thing with inflation. Like the median price for a home in 1980 was $21,000 or
$70,000.
No, $47,000 in 1980. The median home price was $47,000, right? And people thought that was expensive.
So this is the same. I mean, so you're saying the same thing. I constantly tell investors that call me and they're like, "Oh, but I want to have like $500 cash flow." I'm telling them the same exact thing, and I don't think all of them get it. That especially in this market. Exactly what you said. If you spend $1,200 a year, like let's say you're paying $100 a month per that door, you are right. You're making, the tenant is paying most of that, but you're paying $100. So it's $1,200. If you times that out over 5 years and you sell year 5, right, you're looking about like $8,000 that you spent on that, but you're also going to turn around and make $150.
I'm telling you, you've nailed it. And so if you can have a conversation with your clients that, okay, like, in this case, there's no one single truth. The truth is your perspective on the situation. Like, so if you're looking at it differently, then you're putting money into an investment vehicle. And people are like, well, why wouldn't I just buy stocks? Fine, go buy a stock. And here's what happens with the stock. What happens 10 years from now that they find out that they put, you buy Coca-Cola and you find out that they've been putting lead in Coca-Cola and then Coca-Cola goes away. Like that stock is literally worth nothing.
Breaking news.
Right, it's literally worth nothing. So like if you have real estate, there's no possible way to create more land in this world. There's no possible way. You're owning a finite asset. People have the I'm not going to say it, but over Bitcoin because like, oh, it's going to be worth so much money because it's a finite supply. I mean, kind of technically, but there's nothing keeping them from creating more Bitcoin. Like they could just do it if they wanted to. You literally can't make more land on this world. You're going to have to go to Mars, and it's going to be a long time before Elon finishes that.
Yeah.
But if they do, you better be effing buying a subdivision plot on Mars. That's for damn sure.
So staying on the investor track, I see over and over people complain in the comment section on my channel. I see articles about this. I've seen YouTubers complain about this. They're saying, "Oh, investors are jacking up prices." Aaron's comment is 100% the thing. I'm an investor and I cannot find properties right now. And if I do, it is really, I'm doing what everybody else is doing. I'm paying $100,000 over list price if I do it. So Aaron's comments right here, 20% of the buyers are investors, right? And so, or that's what I've seen, that number. But the reality is that investors are maybe 20% of the problem versus everybody, like all the millennials we're talking about. They're like, all right, I'm ready to invest. I'm going to do the smart thing, invest. That's part of not really the problem, but part of why we're seeing the scenario. Ian, how's your beret, man?
It's doing all right.
You've been quiet for a while.
Have you ever seen what's the Harry Potter, the other series with the newt in it? What's that one called? Fantastic Beasts. Have you heard of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them? You ever seen those movies? Yeah. Have you seen that? Though, like he opens the briefcase up and a bunch of animals like live downstairs. I feel like that's what's in Ian's beret. Like you can take Ian's beret off, and he's got like an entire subdivision inside of that beret.
I like it. I like listening to Kevin get passionate about crypto and stuff like that because of the whole it's not a real investment thing, because it's true. It's a little bit of a gamble. They can create money, but that's the thing. They're doing that same thing with dollar bills, y'all, right? Like they're already creating dollars, and people don't get that. They don't get that the Bitcoin and what is it? Fiat currency, like actual dollars, it doesn't mean anything.
So
right?
wait,
the only
hold
thing
on.
that means something is the tangible asset that you have right now, which is property. People always need that.
So that goes to my next question. If we can keep creating currency, right, and we hit inflation, the whole point of this is it too late to buy? If inflation starts going crazy, which a lot of people are saying it will, where the heck do you park your money? Do you park it in the stock market? Do you park it in Doge? Do you park it in real estate, which is something that is a finite resource?
It depends.
But the thing is, you can rent out your real estate right now. If you put your money in a bank,
which is a finite resource.
Yeah. So if you put your money in a bank, they're using your money to invest.
Whatever.
I will say that my husband actually invested in Dogecoin like years ago as a joke, and he's made and he lucked out with this recent.
It works out pretty
It's been nice, but I think real estate, honestly, because I agree, like it's a finite resource. There's, like Kevin said earlier, you can't make more land, and it's going to be something where that will hold true to its value. It might go up and down. It might be cyclical over a course of 20 years, but it's still going to be a gradual increase over that time, or an increase over that time. Stock market, you just never know. And what was the other one? Banks, just having it sit in the bank. You're not probably going to get the same rate of return.
No. My point was, though, if you put it in a bank, all they're doing is they're leveraging that dollar and investing it anyway. They're doing what they want.
It depends on your risk tolerance too, right? It depends on your risk tolerance, right? It just like you can make a lot more money if you're willing to say, like, I don't care if it all goes away tomorrow because I'll just do it all over again. But if you attach your identity with your wealth and portfolio and how much money you're making, trust me, you're going to be disappointed in the long run anyway, because you're going to realize how empty you feel. But if you really want to talk about good investments that'll never go away, you should invest in things like spices and ammunition, because if the world crashes down, even gold's not going to get you very far.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Ammunition's a good one.
Yeah, you can't buy. I mean, we live in Texas, and you can't buy ammunition.
No.
Hold on. You know what's something else? It's a finite resource.
What's that?
Pickles.
Is our merch.
That's so funny.
You can go to the merch store. Oh, look at this. Hold on. Little Control V action. Boom. In the comments. There you go.
Wait a second. Somebody mentioned mobile homes. I missed it.
Yeah, somebody did.
I love him so much now.
Listen, I love mobile homes. I love mobile homes.
Yeah, hold on. That was a good question. I do want to go back to that.
If you want to talk about
Oh,
mobile home investing, trust me, we're in the right place because I don't just talk the talk, I walk the walk on that one.
So if we're considering an investment property for cash flow, right? For cash flow,
multi-doors.
Do we need to seek alternatives?
Yes.
So, but they're looking at something under 300K. So
impossible.
Yeah, impossible. So Colleen, way up the freeway there. I mean, you might be lucky. You used to be able to buy stuff like that under 300. Good luck. Or go to McAllen. McAllen on the border. Those areas, that's where you can buy multi-doors, but it's not going to go up the same rate Austin is. But
you're welcome to figure this out on your own though, because if you're the cash flow is based on cap rate, and usually the higher the cap rate, the more risky the investment is, which means that you're probably not going to be making equity off of it. So can you buy a multi-door investment property at 300,000? Yes, in a very, very low appreciating or even depreciating market that has cash flow consistently. It'll take you tons of money in management, and you'll have vacancies, and it's just tougher to manage, and it will always be worth the same thing. The first house that I bought was in what I would call a sub-market like that. The first house I bought, I paid $81,000 or $82,000. I sold that house for like $79,000 after 7 years, and I just went there 15 years later, and guess what the house is worth? $80,000, right? So it would have cash flowed the whole time, but you would be growing equity very, very slowly. But also the other thing to that is if you only have 300,000 to invest in doors, you're not going to get enough doors to justify the economies of scale at that number. And if you're owning single family doors, I would say at least 16 is probably the number where you get true economies of scale, but at minimum 10 to get massive economies of scale for cash flow purposes.
Quick question here. Sarah, do you do El Paso? Because that's actually not a bad idea. I might go soup a bunch of property in El Paso.
I do. I live in the entire state of Texas, and I have a couple buyers in El Paso, and they are finding properties at 100 and under 100,000.
Are they investors?
One is an investor, yes.
So my wife's father, so my father-in-law, had a carpet cleaning company, he's about to retire, and they have a ton of properties in El Paso. And I keep going like, Eileen, why don't we buy properties in El Paso? She's like, I don't want to go back to El Paso. So that's why we don't have more El Paso properties.
So that's a good question though. Why would you like? Are you saying that because your budget would only allow that, or are you trying to buy multiple homes to add up to the same price? Like if you had $400,000 to invest right now, would you buy 4 $100,000 homes in El Paso, or would you buy one $400,000 home in Austin?
You just said buy multi-doors.
Well, no. That's if you're going to do a lot of doors for cash flow purposes. Cash flow.
No, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, you all know this. I keep saying that on the channel over and over. We're buying a place in New Braunfels right now, which I just got told. It's a builder. Hey, by the way, it's going to take 3 extra months to build now, which sucks. Sarah's going to lock in my rate right now. So
we can.
Yeah, 19 months in advance. El Paso has a lot of military soldiers moving there. Good investment.
Same. So that's also what I was going to ask for y'all. Like Killeen, for instance, right? Killeen has Fort Hood, so you get a lot of people moving. It's dependable as a rental. I have clients in Killeen that are buying property. One, they just tried to buy for 160 and it came in under value at 134, which I didn't know that was still possible. But my question to y'all is, when you're talking about multi-doors and you're talking about trying to find things affordable for investment, do you consider Killeen one of those communities where it's going to be a slow growth, or do you think that could be a good opportunity for investing and holding?
I'm not going to lie, I didn't hear the question.
I did. She's asking if Killeen would be a place that you would invest for a good, like, fundamental, like, equity building reason, or is it just a good short-term investment? Because
I would buy it because it's cheap and it's something I can hold on to for a while, but it would not be on my radar as a place. In fact, I've had clients that have wanted to buy there, but that's not to say it's a bad place. It's just, it's not a market that I know really, really well. So that's probably why I wouldn't.
Let me ask you a question, Jeremy.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you had $300,000 to buy a car, would you get one Lamborghini or 10 Toyota Camrys?
The most expensive Porsche I could buy. Yeah, I probably wouldn't buy a Lambo. I'm not a Lambo guy.
But it's another good question. Like if you rented out 10 Toyota Camrys, you could make a lot more money, but then you're doing oil changes on 10 Camrys.
You said rent it out. That's not you driving.
You're driving, yeah. I don't know why I would drive 10 Toyota Camrys though.
No, I'm just saying from an investment standpoint. You could buy a Lamborghini for $300,000.
You're saying a Turo fleet is what you're saying?
Yeah,
I would buy 10 Teslas.
Yes.
That's what I would do.
Okay, again, would you rather buy a $10 taco from Valentina's for breakfast or 10 $1 tacos from Taco Bell? It just depends. Like, are you super hungry for crappy food? Go to Taco Bell. But the $10 is the $10. Like, okay, if you had $10,000 to invest in Doge versus $10,000 to invest in Tesla, which one are you going to buy?
Ooh,
I'm going to buy 8,000 in Tesla and 2,000 in Doge.
Well, it's different though. Is Tesla going to be around longer? I don't know. Is it going to make a higher percentage of gain than Doge? I don't know. I mean, it's impossible, I think, to say dollar to dollar.
I would say.
I think the percentage will be lower, but the longevity. I mean, Tesla, they're making. We had this conversation earlier. They're making so much more than just cars. It's not a car company.
You know what they're? But hold on. Let's be clear though. Here's what they're not making: sweet ass merch like this. All right.
You know what I think? You know what I think our natural next step is after merch?
What's that?
A private REIT.
Oh, I'm actually working on an NFT on the site right now. Like the whole time you guys have been talking about these investments, I've been working on.
No, a private REIT.
I know it's not the same, but that's a good idea.
I'm actually seriously considering creating a private REIT for Austin real estate investing. If you don't want to buy a single family home, you can invest in the REIT and you can get shared gains with other investors that want to take part in this market. So
that's incredible.
If that's something that's interesting to you, please let me know and I will pursue it.
Yeah. So it's interesting to me. It's interesting to Jeremy. It's interesting to you. Sarah wants to finance it all.
Sarah wants to finance it.
There it is. There's your answer.
So here's the thing. Money coming into Austin, we are seeing land getting purchased like crazy. So I would love to do something like that. I think I gotta be careful about what I say because I'm working on a lot of projects, but I would be buying. So talking about doors, I honestly would just be buying vacant land right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's
but why? I'm challenging you.
Right.
Why vacant land?
But I'm not buying just a lot, one single 1 acre lot. If I was buying a REIT, I'd buy in and find 70 acres, 100 acres, 250 acres that we can develop. The owners of Z Module, I just got an article, and actually I'm going to talk about Z Module because I'm working on actually bringing Z Module onto the channel. So a lot of people are actually, talking about and asking questions about, building micro homes and things like that. Z Module purchased 240 acres right next to that little lake off Decker. Nice. So the people who own that just purchased that. They're a $2.8 billion company. So think about that. Elon is having a problem getting, people places to live here. Z Module is one of those companies, from what I've been told in my back-end conversations, that is actually bringing in a development that is going to be where people are housed that work at Tesla. They're staging at my friend's acreage on the east side. So that all being said, I'm buying up acreage and I'm holding it because I would be developing on the east side. I think the east side is the best place to buy acreage right now and hold it and develop.
Don't tell everybody this. Jeez, Jeremy.
I know, right?
Lee. It's not going to be enough for the rest of us. No, I'm just joking. This is a free market, right? Free market economy. You can buy where you want to. But that's true. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Now, I would add something to that and say that I would also put a mobile home park or a storage unit facility on it to cash flow the land until it has a higher, better use link later on. Yes, that's what I would do.
I like it.
And now we're talking mobile home parks, which you guys crapped on me for talking about previously.
Why build mobile home when you can do Z Module? I mean, like seriously, like this company, I think is going to be doing a lot of great. They're already in Austin, but this is a building that they built in San Antonio. This is they make I-beams. They make, it's a steel company. We're having such an issue with lumber right now. I mean, I know steel is expensive, but this is a definitely solid option. The stuff that they're doing over there, I think is really impressive. And I'm not just saying that because I want them on the channel, but partly, yes, I want them to come on the channel and talk about kind of the micro home stuff that they're building, because some of the stuff that they're building is pretty legit. Let me see. Let me go back to the ecosystem thing they had here.
Now, as long as they offer lower, not higher density, but lower density projects, I think that also makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, I mean, here's an example.
High density.
I mean, this is kind of the stuff. I think this is going to be some of the stuff that they're putting over there at Tesla for their employees.
I live in that with a few more windows. A few more windows on
a few more windows, yeah.
Going right back to Ready Player One, like I was talking about.
Yeah. I mean, I'm down. I'm telling you that you can get away with a lot. But one of the Clayton mentioned that people can work remotely. I think that's partially true. I think what you're seeing now is a shift of people wanting to be near metro areas. Not everybody has the same buyer behaviors, though, right? Like we can't assume that everybody has the same type of buyer demands that we personally do. So yes, I think generally people want to not feel like they have to live in the city and get more for their money, but they still want to be near areas of activity, which is why you're seeing places like the Domain and like East Village becoming popular, because they're like the sub cities, like the centers of
micro cities
within the major metro area, where they can say that they live in Austin, but they don't have to drive downtown. They can go into the Domain for their play and work and stuff like that.
Sorry, I'm just reading some of these comments about Reese.
Good.
Yeah,
that's good. Funny.
Sarah, how much are you tossing in on this?
Wait. What is that? I don't invest to make money.
Somebody said. He said
to make cash flow. No.
Cash flow.
That's not what I said. That was maybe what you figured that I implied. But my personal risk tolerance for investments is different from yours. My risk tolerance for investment is absolutely bipolar. I love long-term versions. I love equity building. In the short term, I like spending money in a way that is massively risky, but provides for ridiculous gains. So I do both. I think that there's a place for both. I'm not this person in the middle that says, okay, the average return of the stock market over the last 40 years is 6%. Guess what? Guess where I'm not parking $1 for 40 years? In the stock market. I got ADD for that. There's not going to happen. My dollar's going to be in and out of that market so many times. I'm either going to lose it all and burn up in a supernova, or I'm going to make 20,000%, So, but that's not my entire investment vehicle for it. I'm just saying true wealth long-term is in equity.
Right. Compound. Look, we had the mayor of Kyle on a week ago. Next week, we're having Alex Jones on.
And then Joe Rogan.
And then Joe Rogan. So don't worry about that. I've been in contact with Alex Jones's people. We're going to talk about frogs and aliens. It's going to be great. Yeah. I am just kidding. He won't be on. He probably doesn't even know who I am or care.
Let's
Sarah,
talk about Treviso. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how much Sarah has disdain for not necessarily Joe Biden, but one of his plans that's coming out. Sarah, you talked about this before the channel. You were like, "Oh, Joe Biden." Blah. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, everybody. But I'm kidding. There's a plan that he's coming out with, and from the lending standpoint, you had some words about it.
Yeah. So I'll just put it out there. Like this is not politically fueled whatsoever. This is just about a policy. So,
let's get the mayor Kyle back on and ask him about Biden. There you go. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
So my issue is, we've been talking about how, especially it's impossible to buy in Austin. We've been seeing how crazy the market is. People can't afford to buy more than ever because now than they could before, especially because of the increase in incomes, but they just don't have enough money to, afford these price points and have the extra cash to go over. Right. Well, I don't think it makes a lot of sense to create this first-time home buyer credit and create all this money to give first-time home buyer credits out to try to allow people to help buy homes that are in lower to median incomes when the homes are already overpriced. And let me just kind of go where I'm going with this. So there's the first-time home buyer credit, and it's for first-generation home buyers only. So that means it's not just you have to be a first-time home buyer. It means that your parents could not have owned a home. So it only applies to first-generation home buyers, and it's low to median income home buyers. So you can't, and it depends on the county, but they're basically saying like you can't make anywhere between 120 to 180% over the average median income, which is, it's not that high. And so I don't think giving these people money so they can buy a home will help them get into a home in our current market when the minimum down payment won't cut it. And I think it would make a lot more sense if instead of creating this first-time home buyer credit, they gave it to, builders or, to construct affordable housing, because that's our issue.
Well, we had the mayor of Kyle on last week, and Kevin made a few points that it's not not necessarily in city's best interest to build affordable housing. I think that's kind of what you said.
That's exactly what I said.
Okay.
No, that's exactly what it is.
Because they make more money. I mean, who do you think is more happy? This is not anything to do with the mayor, Kyle. I mean, but I'm just saying in cities in general. Why would they want affordable housing? They're going to get more money off taxing homes. I mean, if you do affordable housing, you're having to subsidize a lot of that. So, which means that you're pre-packing and prepaying for a lot of that. So, somebody can have a lower rent, which, I mean, I'm all for affordable rents for people, but cities make more money off of taxing more higher value properties. Why do you think Austin's so happy right now?
That's exactly right. If you had the same dirt, he didn't say this. The mayor did not say this.
Right. We're not
putting the words in his mouth that the city of Kyle, or any city for that matter, on the same dirt, they're more incentivized to approve a $600,000 home than they are a $300,000 home on the same dirt. The density between the two of those, the difference in density between the two is literally like fractional. It's like 4.5 homes per acre versus 4.75 homes per acre. I don't know what the exact number is, but if they could have tax, like they would double their taxable revenue by having a higher price of home.
This goes back to your soda can, your Coke can being 11.5 ounces.
Yeah.
The same concept.
Right.
Where can you squeeze the profit out? That's it.
You're just squeezing it out. And I mean, you want to talk about more, conspiracy theory is more than just, wearing tinfoil hats and thinking that everybody's part of the Illuminati. Like, this stuff is really true. Like, I think the affordable housing, I think, is very necessary. But I generally think that the government, especially a city government, is compelled to do affordable housing because it makes a political constituency happier that they're offering something for people that potentially would need it. But if they had a choice, if they didn't have to worry about voting and political constituency, you would see a lot less programs helping people. Yes. They're just doing it to satisfy a social need for it. Mm-hmm.
Or social needs. Yes.
They don't care. They don't care that much. They don't care. Like a lot of people that are, especially ultra wealthy, they don't care if the person has to drive in an hour to serve a meal or 10 minutes to serve a meal. It makes no difference to them because they don't even think about it.
Warp Data had a point. He said, so the buildings
Why are my eyes lit? They're not. It's the lighting.
It's because he's got a blue background. It makes the red pop.
My skin is red because I'm sunburnt. Because I went outside for an hour yesterday and I'm pasty. But I'm red because I'm sunburnt. Look, I promise you, my eyes are normal.
That was after the eye drops you just put in. Sorry, Sarah. So we cut you off from your point earlier. So you were saying that it's better off putting that money into something that's not going to just inflate housing costs. Is that what you're saying?
Well, that not necessarily inflate housing costs. I'm just saying if you want to help first-time home buyers be able to afford a home, it's not going to be able. You're not going to do that by giving them a credit to be able to have some money when they have no money to buy a home. Right?
In this market, if you did it in a different market, do you think you would be like if we were in a market where we needed more buyers?
Right, because the problem isn't buyers. The problem is, not enough inventory. So if we're able to have that money the federal government has to help subsidize some sort of housing or some sort of affordable housing, so if their goal is to have first-time home buyers be able to get into homes, then that's the way to do it. Because giving them money where they didn't have any, or a money where they can do a 5% down payment instead of a 3%, isn't going to help them get into that house in this market. There might be some markets out there that do, but not in this market. So, and I'm talking about how to benefit the person, not necessarily the city, but that's my 2 cents.
I wonder why there aren't any programs where people can work to earn a down payment.
What do you mean?
Like work to earn whatever that incentive is for them to be able to get into a house easier.
Well, they still, even though there's incentive, they still have to have good credit. They still, there's nothing. A lot of those, Sarah and I have worked on countless first-time home buyer deals throughout the years until really March of last year. And then those kind of really by June of last year, all those first-time home buyer credits that we had, the down payment assistance stuff went away, but you still have to qualify for the loan. So I get what you're saying, but you still have to qualify either way.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Ian. Sorry.
So we keep calling them credits, right? That's what I'm referring to, right? So if there was something that you can do, like, earned wage for the government for a short amount of time, whether it's volunteer, whether it's clean up streets or something like that. And it's a program, because right now it's like, do we want to give you money or do we not? That's what's happening right now.
Work to own.
You're like what's the one you said? If your parents never owned a house, then we can give you money.
You still have to like Jeremy said, though, you still have to actually qualify for the home.
Right.
And yes, one of the qualifications for that first-time home buyer credit is your parents can't own a home, you can never have owned a home, and then also your income can't be too high.
Well, that's what I mean. So it's like, wait a minute, you can't make enough money, but your parents can't own a home, and now you can get. It's challenging.
That's true. So, sorry to that comment. There is, Austin does have some affordable housing that's in existence. And part of the requirement is that you have to put in so many volunteer hours with Habitat of Humanity to get subsidized housing. It's part of the qualification process.
Yeah.
But that does exist. But again, you have to make almost like the income levels very low, and you still have to qualify for the loan and everything.
But think about that. Think about that when you're referring to affordable housing. If somebody's income is not very high, they just haven't been able to save a lot for that down payment, but they can make their mortgage payment. Maybe it's education or something like that. But if they could work to get a grant, work for the city to get a grant, I think that's better than, it wouldn't be a grant. Work for the city to get that credit or to earn that down payment. It could be nice.
Why? Did he say something when I was gone?
No, he didn't. But it's funny. It's like we just had lunch the other day too, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, I know. I like Kevin. I just can't stand too close to him because he's like 6'7". That's the only problem.
Yeah, he does, and he's kind of.
I'm always looking up his nose, like, sit down, man. What do you?
I don't wear deodorant, just so you know.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
And this Silverman, so this was kind of the point why I said in this market it doesn't make sense to do that, because right now, Sarah, how many FHA buyers have you helped get under contract? Actually, or anybody, how many FHA buyers have you put under contract in the last 5 months? Anybody?
2, maybe.
But hold on. But where were those 2 at?
They were new construction.
Exactly. Now, how hard is it right now to get new construction for anyone?
Oh gosh, it's near impossible. Like you're on this wait list forever.
Well,
I'm writing FHAs right now for a client.
Okay, where?
Hutto, and obviously not winning.
Not winning.
Not winning.
Right. So writing offers.
It's going to take a bleeding heart, I think.
I do have VAs that finally are getting under contract, in San Antonio mainly. but I have gotten more VAs lately that have been accepted. But I mean, this last like year and a half, we had to switch some VA guys to conventional just so their offer could get accepted, which, I mean, I'm a military wife. I don't think that's right. I think people should be able to use their VA benefits they worked hard to get. But
so this is a question because I don't know the answer to this.
Yeah.
So if somebody wants to use VA, but obviously they can't because they need to, whatever, the market is the way the market is. Can they purchase conventional, wait 6 months, and then refi into VA? Is that a possibility? I'm just not sure the answer to that.
Right. So, I mean, you can always refinance, but there's really no benefit at that point. I mean, there's really no benefit at that point unless it's because you have mortgage insurance and you want to get rid of it. And it's still, that might not even be worth it to you at that point, because with a conventional loan, the mortgage insurance will eventually come off of it. And then if you switch into a VA loan and refinance into it, unless you are exempt from the funding fee, you're going to have to pay like a 2.3%, funding fee that gets rolled into your loan, or you pay at closing, and then you're going to end up spending more money. So yes, technically you could do that, but it really wouldn't make any sense to do that for most folks.
Right. By the way, Master Jedi likes you, but I don't understand the lock her up thing.
Keep her on the show.
I think, keep her on the show. I think that's what he meant.
Oh, lock her up for the show. Got it.
Lock her up. Lock her
Thank you,
up.
Master Jedi. I
Not
appreciate
that.
it.
Dang, Luis Meza right here. REAXF for life. That is the ticker for our brokerage, Real Broker.
In case you didn't know.
REALMigos. There you go. Definitely buy that and hold it forever until you want to sell it and make millions, hopefully.
Yeah.
Now the SEC is going to come after me for saying that, or the F whatever. No, I'm not giving you advice on when to buy the
investment advice.
Jeez. But I bought a lot.
It's too late. They're already watching the stream.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Sarah, can you get me a pardon with Biden now? Come on. All right. You do look super sunburned.
Midwest pasty skin.
Part of this is I can't understand. I don't know how to adjust my white balance on my camera on live stream.
Because you got the glasses on. I can't. No.
It's getting too dark.
I do have Midwest pasty white skin though. Half Irish, half English. So
I'm pretty ghostly.
So where were we? We were talking about credits and all that jazz.
Star Rider has a good point.
Star Rider. All right, cool. In Texas, a veteran with a disability rating 70 to 100% may receive a $12,000 property tax exemptions. Veterans with full 100% disability rating are full exempt from property taxes. So so this is something we've actually talked about quite a few times on the channel. The problem is, and I don't know how this works though, if you can't purchase using a VA, can you still get the benefits for tax exemption? Do you know the answer to that, Sarah?
100%.
Obviously, I'm asking Sarah because her husband's
I was like,
military.
Sorry. 100%. Yes. I mean, that's it doesn't matter what type of loan you get. If you're 100% disabled, disabled veteran, you automatically get that tax exemption, no matter what. Well, you have to obviously submit the paperwork for it. They're not just going to magically know, but it will actually start the day that you close on your house. So it's one of those where you can fill out the exemption paperwork immediately versus a homestead exemption where you have to wait the following year.
All states give full exempt to 100% VA disability. This is not a Texas specific. Sorry.
Thank you, Jeremy.
You're welcome.
You know you got to yell, Caps.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I'm
Boo.
giving you a hard time.
There's like 7 states that people actually want to be in. So
yeah, it's true. But I mean, yeah. So, yeah. Here's how you Kevin, it's not your white balance that's the problem, it's the red balance that's the problem.
maybe my blood pressure is so high because you guys are so mean to me.
Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. Somebody wants sympathy now. I'll love them in the comments.
You can take it. This is a good question.
Trust me, I can take it.
I haven't seen, I know Georgetown, was it in Georgetown? There's a big article about this happening in Houston, but I haven't seen I know one person that purchased, or one group that purchased a bunch of duplexes, but with a lot of institutions buying out neighborhoods, would the real estate scene change once they start offloading them when the rates go up? Why would they offload them, I think, is the question.
Yeah.
Ooh, I have a question.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, so I'm going to pose this question. So with everything that's been happening, have you seen an influx of commercial property available because more people have converted to working from home and working remote, and that helps eliminate these companies' overheads? And do you see the future of those commercial properties being bought up and converted to rental properties and condos and things like that? And is that a possible good investment choice?
I would love to see Class A, B, C office spaces turn into condos, but the cost of conversion versus like even leaving it vacant in some ways is not, because you don't know that that's always going to go away forever and ever, right? So as an investment vehicle, the cost to renovate versus just starting from scratch somewhere, the return might not be as good, which is why you don't see Class A, B, C, D shopping malls converted to a lot yet. I mean, the idea exists there, but nobody wants to do that because unless the cities, like I think the city of Raleigh, North Carolina, they sold a building to Epic Games, the Fortnite developer, and they converted a old shopping mall into their headquarters. Well, what they don't know is places like that are like, they sell these buildings. The city sells the buildings to these people for like $1 because they just want them to own it and do something that's good for the community. So I'd like to see that, Sarah. I think that opportunity does exist, but I'm not sure until all of the land really close to town is really developed. I'm not sure that we'll see that as often. That's a great question, though.
And there's still a lot of developments happening right now. If you look at like the community impact, there's developments everywhere that are being built. And somebody asked me this today on a conversation. They said, or it was a buyer that had called and was asking about the market. We're seeing developments develop everywhere, like shopping centers and stuff like that, still constantly. And part of that has to do, in my opinion, is that a lot of this stuff's been in the works for years anyway. But a lot of these subsidiary, suburbs that are going out need places to still go. So what just like the mayor of Kyle said yesterday, more tax dollars are being spent in Kyle. So as we see more of these developments go into place outside in the suburbs, people are going to not have to drive into downtown as much. And so that whole work from home thing is just going to be even better, except for, I think it was like Aaron or somebody said that they're going to have to go back to work in August.
Get this. Here's what's going to happen. And mark my words, you can earmark this for 5 or 10 or 20 years from now, whenever it actually does happen.
All right. Hold on. Let me make sure I mute you. Go ahead.
Okay. Two things to be very mindful of. A lot of people could not leave their house for literally what was just a year. And it wasn't even really that long. It was probably like 9 months. And they went absolutely stir crazy. And people don't want to be in their house anymore. A lot of people don't want to work from home after realizing that they sit at home all day long and literally do everything. They might enjoy it for a little while. Yeah. But I think what employers are going to get to the point where they realize that their employees are not very productive at home either. I mean, that's why you can't get a hold of anybody in customer service, because the people that were in customer service are no longer sitting in an office answering phones. They're answering at home. And they're like, well, I'm probably just going to go ahead and run some errands right now, or my kid's screaming, so I may as well take a few hours off. Like, they're going to realize that they're not as productive. And I think the employers will probably at some point require people to be back in these same office spaces that we think are just going to go away. I think that they're going to have to shift them back into the space.
Which goes back to our infrastructure problems. Anyway, I don't want to get into infrastructure today. It's just going to make me mad again. Sarah, this is a good question. Big Mama, welcome back. Considering today's market is 3.1, I think she's talking about 3.1% interest rate, a good rate on a new build. What's your take?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of factors to that too, because it depends on what kind of loan you have, how much you put down, credit score, because it's relative, right? But I think that 3.1 is a good rate. I think it's relative to what type of loan and what your qualifications are as well. Is that not happy?
That's a great answer.
Yeah. We just bought a townhouse in Cedar Park. Do you think it would appreciate over the next few years? Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations on buying that.
Cedar Park doesn't have any more land to build.
Yeah.
Oh, those Snapchat goggles?
Of course they are.
Are you trying to one up me? I gotta find something now. Where my ski goggles?
This is a good one. Why are we not talking about buying tax? Why are we not talking about buying tax liens from the Austin chaos? There's a backlog of foreclosed homes that will go to auction. Where?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of foreclosed homes here in Austin because people can sell and pay off their loan before it goes into foreclosure.
And there's so many wholesale deals and stuff like that. It never actually happens, or rarely happens. It's so saturated with investors that are paying cash. It's just it's not realistic to expect to get a foreclosure with an FHA or almost an FHA loan at $200,000 and you can fix it up that doesn't happen right now.
I'm not on Twitter. I stay off that stuff.
Only bad things. You don't have to interact.
Yeah, no, because here's what's going to happen. Someday I'm going to have liked something like 6 years ago, and then I'm going to get canceled because I liked a post, maybe on accident. Maybe I didn't even mean to hit the like button. I don't know.
Just don't like anything.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
My kid likes to like everything on all my stuff and subscribe, especially on YouTube.
I like this one. Tear down Barton Mall, build micro housing. Number one, not a chance in hell they're going to build micro housing there because that land is so incredibly expensive right there. I mean, that's some of the most there. And not Camp Pendleton. Is it Camp Pendleton? Is that what's up there? Yeah. Camp Mabry.
Mabry. In San Diego.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm in San Diego too long. But those two areas, if they ever got rid of Camp Mabry, that's the most expensive real estate in all of town.
And low taxes. And low micro homes there.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's not ever happening.
Yeah.
Wow, nice. Gunners.
Hey, she can do both.
Yeah.
She can do both. Are those gunners?
No, these are some old like millennial Kyle Oakleys.
Oh, okay.
I have some white ones too. Oh my gosh! Somebody posted this picture.
You're one up in me, huh? Is that what that is?
Somebody the other day posted this picture of like this guy with like a goatee and white sunglasses, and I was like, oh my god, and sideburns, and it was supposed to be making fun of people, like from that area, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that was like my senior picture right there. That's exactly like it.
Joel says that his office is a prison, but he's more productive there. So in your face.
Oh, you didn't. No, you didn't. Fine. Fine.
Man, it's not even the after hours show. We're barely at 8:30. Is this still possible to buy a 2,100 square foot 4.2 for under $400K in Round Rock or Manor?
I don't.
Are those days
wait, what was the question?
4.2? Yeah.
Under 400K. 2,100 is the limiting factor there.
Yeah. I mean, 1,800
you
square
can get
foot.
A 4-bedroom, but each bedroom is 8 by 10. Right?
Yeah.
So you can put a twin bed in there. That's true, right? Am I wrong?
No, you're right.
Well, if you want it as a rental, then yeah. But I know DR Horton is doing a lot of bids right now, especially.
You can play this game.
Yeah.
I don't think institutions are going to sell out. They're holding on to SFRs as a diversifier to all their commercial. Guessing it will make home ownership more difficult as more buyers compete. I mean, that's
all right.
Yep. Pretty. You guys. All right. We're gonna have to end this. You're gonna be keeping jackasses. Camp Pendleton. Yeah. My friends are out partying in Cinco de Mayo, and I'd rather be here with y'all. Thanks, Steve.
Aw.
Thanks, man. Steven, sorry.
I can't compete. I can't.
Why do you even have two of those?
Yeah, why do you have two of those?
If one's for his wife.
Yeah, you gotta play 2-player. Come on.
Like,
That's fair.
Actually, so what's interesting is I got into VR because I wanted to get, this was like 4 years ago. I wanted to be able to create a space where people could come in and tour homes without having to go out to them, because I was well ahead of, this pandemic thing. 360 tours, all that sort of stuff. It was a thing.
So what's your next 4-year prediction?
Who's Jordan Peterson?
I like that. The NFTs that I'm putting on here, I don't on our store, on our REALMigos merch store.
Wait a second. Hold on a second.
Wait.
Did you say REALMigos merch?
Yeah, I've been adding. Keep looking. Scroll.
Oh, look!
You got to refresh.
All right, let's see. Somebody said something about hats.
I'm working on the hats. The hats take a design element.
Wait, is this a mask? Get rid of that crap.
It's a choice.
Yeah, no, I'm vaccinated, man. I
am too, but that's okay.
I can walk around, do whatever I want now, and kiss babies if I need to.
Until
Just
the
kidding.
store-
All right, here we go. Now I'm gonna get hit with all those like 2020 things on YouTube. I can't say the word anymore. I'm just kidding,
Why is it
people.
not showing you all the new
PE.
stuff?
PE word.
Yeah,
No.
it's not showing it to me. Can you pull it up on your end?
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Jeez.
Jeez, man.
Oh, look. Yeah, here we go.
Oh, trust me, the Treviso merch is coming.
It's coming for sure. That's really funny.
Yeah, we really should do some good Treviso merch. Sarah, how many deals have you done in Treviso?
It's a good question.
Recently
last
or
year.
total?
Recently, because that's the point.
Oh, 1 in the last 12 months?
Wow.
That's
Incredible.
Yeah, I mean, we all love Treviso, so I mean, it's
I got knocked down.
you got knocked out. All right,
Because I
there we
have
go.
two
Now we can end the
areas.
show. Boom, got it. Master Jedi. Let's go buy some houses.
The coffee mug's up there.
Coffee. Did you get it? Did you add it onto the stream? Come on, Ian.
It's
Jeez,
publishing,
everybody.
man. It's publishing, but it's there. I did it.
Costco middle management and knowledge in real estate game make you a direct threat for the mayor of Kyle. Oh man, I do not miss Costco. I'll tell you that. Great company, tough to work for, believe it or not, but great company overall. So, yeah, good. Nothing negative to say. Just tough to work for. You might as well go ahead and like the controversial Twitter post with that kind of talk. All right, yeah, because I'm gonna get canceled for something sometime. Who knows? Oh yeah, probably because I said something about the mask thing. Jeez. All right, so where did we go? Ian, you got it up. Here we go. Boom.
Yeah. So it's not an 11.5 ounce, unfortunately. I was looking for that.
Is there
I've got a couple others, die cut stickers. I've got the mug up there.
It's got to be 11.5 ounces. Just
I know that would be so great.
Is there a bourbon cup in there?
Tote bag, socks? It's all happening. This is just step one, phase one, right?
Sarah,
you get all sorts of colors.
Sarah, how much of the merch did you already purchase? I heard that you put in like a big order.
Yeah.
Oh, tons. You're gonna see my kids running around in a bunch of your shirts.
I'm gonna have to just
I like it.
the baseball team, Braden, my son. So okay, we canceled last night. My son's team won. The Red Sox beat the Dodgers 13-5. My son also just made All-Stars, and so they actually asked me to sponsor the team, which is pretty sweet. So I'm just gonna get just all REALMigos merch and just put it on all the kids. Like that's their uniform now is REALMigos merch. So they're gonna have REALMigos like Red Sox with the REALMigo on the back. So there we
I
go.
like it.
So Braden doesn't get to be a part of like the Dodgers team. He's Red Sox team.
He's on the Red Sox right now. It's very disheartening. I try to not wear my Dodger gear when I go to games, but I'm good. It's a good thing I didn't do it last night because last night we actually played the Dodgers and it would have been really weird because they asked me to help coach. One of the coaches was there, so I had to manage those rascals in the dugout, which was a lot of fun. So glad we canceled for that reason. It was good. Since many large companies' work from home policies are still undecided, will the market change drastically if the decision is to limit what the WFH?
Work from home.
Oh, work from home. There you go. What do you think? Sarah's got lots of answers.
Yeah, that's a really good question. Will the market change? The question is, do people want to drive? That's the question you're asking, right? Do people want to have to drive an hour and a half because they bought a house that was, a little ways away? But also, how does that impact the traffic? Because people that live close is no longer close if the roads are full of traffic from people driving all the time.
But
Both of those are factors.
At the end of the day, though, if you have people that are forced to go back to the office and can't work from home anymore, and let's say they're trying to buy in the market, I mean, you still have the problem with inventory and the fact that there's just not things there. So I don't think that that's gonna, if anything, that might increase more people trying to buy closer to their commute, not having to commute as much. I don't know. I guess that's where I was kind of thinking of that question. I don't know if that could.
Let me answer your question with another question. If work from home was such a great idea, why wouldn't people just buy a house in like South Dakota and then work in Austin?
Oh,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's because of a lot. I mean, there are so many factors there, but taxes, right? Like, how does that happen? How does that work?
Like, if you could live let's pick somewhere even better. Like, if you could work from home literally anywhere, why wouldn't you live on Lake Como in Italy and, work?
Because you won't have internet until Starlink is up. What's Starlink? Let me explain it to you.
You're missing my point.
No, but
People still live in Austin, right?
I think that will be happening soon. I think people will start to realize that. It's just it's a slow transition, slow burn, and it takes a generational shift, right? Somebody who's I'm going to use the word boomer. I don't like that, right? But somebody who's been in a house for 35 years isn't going to just up and move to Italy because it's just not going to happen. I mean, unless they're retiring, they're not going to do that for work, and
Yeah. I think it kind of goes back to what y'all were saying before. It's like there's other reasons why you move to a place. It's not just because of your job. It's because of the location, the places you go, the schools. So, I mean, sure, if you have someone that's single and they don't, or, a couple that doesn't have kids and that's not a factor in their decision making and they want to live on a ranch or something somewhere out in the middle of nowhere and can work remote. Sure, but I think the majority of your folks are going to want to be near city centers or, like near the domain where there's places they can go and do things and or be in a certain school district. So I don't know. I think that would be a factor preventing people from going out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, we could, like, my husband and I talk about, we could go buy some land out in the middle of nowhere and build like the home of our dreams, but we're not going to be near anything. We're not going to be near any of the restaurants we like to go to. We're going to be away from family. Our kids might not be in the best school district. And that means more to us than building our dream home out in the middle of nowhere for cheap. Yeah.
Like what do you do if you're a tech person? What do you do in North Dakota?
Well,
right? Like really.
The question tonight was like, is Austin unaffordable, right?
Yeah.
No, it was, is it too late to buy in Austin?
Too late.
Oh,
yeah.
Is it too late to buy? For what reason? Because it's not affordable anymore. It's not a good idea.
Right. Is it too late? Did you miss the boat?
I mean, I am a dealer, guys. I hope you know this. I am a dealer in electronic equipment. You know this. I sold them a graphics card, right? I hoard computer parts right now, and I sell them.
I got to show this. This is how proud I am of what you accomplished.
Yes, thank you, sir.
If anybody knows, this is gold. You want to talk about what you're trading? This is value right here.
Yeah.
If you don't know, I feel bad.
It's just as good as Doge right now.
I hoard.
It is.
I hoard computer parts, and I literally, if I post let's say I have a graphics card, and I have a couple. Here's one right here. I have a 3060 Ti. Right. This card is worth like $1,500 right now. If I were to put this up on Mercari right now for $1,500, do you know how many 15-year-old kids would grab their mom's credit card and buy this for $1,500? Like it's relative to how much you're willing to pay for something to be here. Like eventually you're going to say, I want to be in Austin, and it won't matter what the price will be. And people are thinking, they're talking themselves out of wanting to buy here because they're giving reasons why they probably shouldn't or why they should wait. But
I think you're going to see. I think we still got a lot of people sitting on the sidelines to wait to see how this is going to pan out. This is why I think Sarah even said this earlier. I don't remember who said this earlier. Like investors are all sitting and waiting. FHA buyers are all sitting and waiting. So, you know, if you think the demand is what is currently happening today, no. The demand that you see right now would be, well, I would say, are like first adopters and first movers. The people that are going to buy the iPhone right out of the gate. But eventually, when everybody has an iPhone, you're going to be like, well, why don't I have an iPhone? If everybody lives in Austin and they want to move to Austin, you're going to be like, well, why don't I live in Austin yet? And then you're going to start. Then you'll buy at any price at that point.
I mean, I think this goes back to what Kevin was saying earlier too. You know, it's true. The average first-time home buyer is the age 33, and if you look at birth records, you see a boom over the next 3 years. You see an influx, a burst. So, I mean, I think if anything with this market, it's going to get more expensive, and you're going to see even more people coming in, which is not going to. If you're waiting on the sidelines, the cost of waiting is actually going to hurt you. Because you're going to lose in that appreciation. It's going to cost you more with your monthly payment because rates are most likely going to increase over the next year plus. And then also it's going to cost more money to buy the same home that you could buy now in that time frame. So, I mean, I think if you do have the ability to buy, but you just want to wait and see if you can afford and it comes back down, that wouldn't be something I would bet on. I would say make the move now. But that's just my opinion.
Make the move.
Okay.
I'm making merch right now. I'm making merch.
Are you? Is it possible? So Fabian earlier asked, I want to go back to this. Sorry, I was letting Kevin talk about computer parts for some reason.
Exciting.
Yeah. Fabian was asking, Fabian asked earlier about Tiermo. If you can get into Tiermo right now, I would highly get in there.
It's a good one.
Yes, definitely get into Tiermo. Is it possible for tax rates in a subdivision to go up? No. The answer is no. They can go down if you pull off, if the PIDs or the MUDs come off, but they do not go up. Now your values, what your home is worth, does go up. So that's why property taxes go up every year. And that's why this year we are seeing the largest property tax increase because number one, 2019, Austin Board of Realtors sued CoreLogic for supplying our proprietary data to the tax district. It's hysterical because one of my neighbors said, oh, I was like, hey guys, our property values are about to go up. He's like, oh, your commissions can cover it. I'm like, who are you? That dude's taxes, because he bought in February with a Redfin agent, went up $5,000. It's actually in my video that I put out. So yeah, good luck for your snarky comment, buddy. Or good job with your snarky comment because your taxes got hit hard. So anyway, sorry, highest tax increase we've ever seen for those reasons. Do you want to show some more computer parts?
No, I'm going to show my new merch.
Oh, okay, God, is it going to be a
No.
mullet? Is it a mullet riding a Sea-Doo? Can we talk about jumbo loans? Is jumbo loan interest rate higher than conventional for an investment property in Austin? For an investment property, Sarah?
So I'm going to break this down into two parts. So jumbo loans versus conventional loans. Jumbo loans right now, those interest rates are typically higher than conventional loans. Now, if you're looking at investment properties are always going to have a higher interest rate than like a primary residence or a second home. And so when you combine, so if it's a jumbo investment versus a conventional investment, then your jumbo investment will typically have a higher interest rate unless you buy down the points or just find some crazy awesome deal. But yes, it will typically be higher than a conventional.
What are your thoughts on buying down points right now?
Oh, I love that question. That's a good question. And can you explain what that means?
And should I refi my house in Treviso?
Yeah, should I refi? What are buying down points? About doing that right now?
So buying down points has to financially make sense for you. And so usually when we look at buying down points, there's several questions I ask. One is, how long do you plan on owning the home? Because if you buy down points, but you only are in the home for a couple years, you're never going to see the return of that investment typically. So you're just throwing money away. But sometimes you do have a really good deal. Sometimes you can get like, you can recoup that investment of maybe it's like $200, $300 and you can get like a quarter to a half off in rate. Awesome. Like because each day, like we update pricing hourly with the market. So it just depends on what that pricing is when we're looking at it. Sometimes it makes sense and it's really logical where you'll recoup the amount of points, like the amount of money you pay in points within a year. Great. That would make sense. Sometimes it would take, 10 years to recoup that investment. In that point, that would make sense if you're only planning on living that home 1 to 3 years. It depends if you plan on paying the loan off early. It depends if you're more concerned with saving an interest over the life of the loan, if you plan on holding it for the rest of your life. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into it that I review with my clients to make sure if it makes sense. I did have a client come to me and say that they wanted to buy the rate down as low as possible. And it was like over 3 points. And I told him, I don't think that financially makes sense for you based on what we talked about. You're kind of throwing money away. And so I went through the numbers with him to explain, spending that money up front versus putting that somewhere else. So again, it really depends on the individual situation. Refinancing, that was the other question, right? So refinancing right now makes the sense for a lot of people to do. And a lot of folks, it makes a lot of sense to do a cash out right now because rates are super low and then they can take that equity out and they can either pay down their debt or pay their debt off and increase their monthly cash flow. Or they can use that money and maybe they can help towards their down payment or to buy another house or something like that and still get a really low rate, sometimes lower than what they have now. So I think that does make sense still. Especially with the little dip that we've seen this month.
Awesome. With the recent dramatic home price appreciation, how much of a chance, none, is there that local governments would decide to lower property tax rates to keep the market strong and help keep rents low?
Wait, what?
Yeah, I was like, why would they want to? I mean, how often do you walk into work and you say, you know what, I don't want to make as much money today?
The chances of the local government doing anything that would affect such a macroeconomic, I don't know what the word is, but they wouldn't do anything that would affect the market that drastically. I think I just heard this like
macroeconomic, I think.
Yeah, macroeconomic. Canada, I don't know if it was Toronto or someone else. Like, I think that their government was starting to put some of these, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't care much about it, but I just saw it, that they are putting some limits on that to slow the growth a bit because they're afraid that the prices are increasing too rapidly. And so they're intervening. Listen, I'll be the last person to tell you that government intervention is the choice that I would like to make. So, if you see anything, you'd see it on, I think, a national level, but I don't even think you're going to see anything on that level for a long time.
Master Jedi said you're a commie, though.
Right.
I don't know why he would think I said nothing. I said nothing that would make me
sound like a communist. My wife and I have lived in Silicon Valley for 7 years. We believe that Austin is poised to win, but don't want to live in the same place we are wanting to leave.
So that's a break-even point. Mm-hmm. Might be 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on what that means. Like when you say you don't want it to be what you, because there are some things that will not transition over. Yep. Right? It won't be the same. It might, it can't be the same.
Treviso is, Vizcaya is the new Toriso. I think you spelled that wrong. Master Jedi's house is about to go on the market in Vizcaya. You can get it for the cool price of $300. He's going to cut you a sweet deal. Can somebody in the chat, I forgot their name, is like AYO or something like that. Here we go. This person asked earlier, Ifio, are the prices people are paying for lots and homes in Treviso worth it? Okay. In the chat, please, somebody explain why we're crapping on Treviso so much so I don't have to do it again.
That's good.
The answer to your question is what Kevin always says: everything is a good investment right now, right, Kevin? Is that what you said?
Yeah, everything is a good. If you like it, just and your goals are aligning with the asset, it's a good investment. I think. Can you pay too much for Treviso? I don't know. I think it's worth it.
I would rather live where this guy's living right here, or going to be living.
Question. Are you trying to wrap your head around like the affordability there because you wouldn't pay that? Because like 97% of the comments that we get about a community for some god awful reason is about Treviso. Like, have you even been to Treviso? Like, it's fine. It's fine. But you know what it is now? It's called the Streisand effect, right? Do you know what the Streisand effect is?
Is this Barbara or something else?
Yeah, the Streisand effect. Let me read you what the Streisand effect is, and you can keep talking. I'll pull it up.
So, I think Treviso maybe they just do such a good job of marketing to Californians. I mean, all the money that Taylor Morrison's making by charging people $200,000 to $300,000 for a stupid lot, they must be spending that on like just massive amounts of advertisement. So
I think a lot of it is just how it looks when you drive in, like the views. It's the views. People that live near and around mountains, and they come here
around the hill.
I know, but that's what it is.
But it's like that. There's a ton of subdivisions that are like that. Headwaters is super similar to Treviso.
I was gonna say Headwaters.
I mean, it's almost identical.
Like, I have a lot of people that ask me about Headwaters, and I just tell them drive through it.
But it's also north.
Yeah, but he's just comparing the two as far as the view.
Right. So you have Headwaters, and if you work south, that's great. But then you have Treviso, and if you work north, like let's say you work at Apple, what makes more sense? And that's where people are losing it. Right?
The Streisand effect is a social phenomenon that occurs when you attempt to hide, remove, or censor information, and it has the unintended consequence of further publicizing the information. We shit on Treviso, so everybody's like, well, should I like it? And everybody's like, they're like, should I, what was this Treviso place that you guys talk about? But the demand for Treviso is so high. Mm-hmm. Like, supply and demand determines prices, right? We say this every week. It's a curve. It's economic law. So the price is only what people are willing to pay for it. So if the demand is high enough and the supply is low enough, the price will adjust accordingly. That's why you see prices anywhere, and specifically in Treviso. So if you can afford it, then pay it, because guess what? There's 100 other people that are willing to pay that same price.
Yeah, it's more than 100, but yeah.
Yeah, well, for that specific house, maybe though, right?
Yeah.
Maybe so. More than hundreds, right? Hundreds of people, maybe even thousands of people if they knew about it, right?
If they knew, that's the key, is getting people to know about it. Yeah.
I voted for Kanye, actually.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
You're not.
No,
I thought you. Yeah.
I know that a lot of people are mentioning to me. What, Ian?
I was just saying there are lots of questions that I'm reading. Everybody, Santa Rita Ranch, Bryson.
Lots of good questions, though.
Yeah. And yes, Master Jedi, we can go ride. I'm putting a new battery in the bike. I didn't put a battery tender on there last year.
I know that a lot of people that I was talking to that are relocating, they like to have that Mediterranean look. And there's not very communities here that have that. And I think Treviso was one of them. I know Toll Brothers, in the communities they build, they have some of those looks too. But that's been a comment that that I've been hearing a lot from some relocations from California and some other places, is they like that Mediterranean look versus like the modern farmhouse. And they haven't seen that in as many communities here in Texas, here in our area.
I like my favorite style that we don't yet do here is more of like the Santa Barbara style, which I think is starting to become a little bit more popular. I actually don't know that we found Austin's true style home for the current generation yet. I think that we're recycling the previous generation's styles of home that was popular in Austin. And I don't think that they're nearly as, I mean, the elevations are the same, but the interiors are starting to become more contemporary. I'd love to see more modern construction in Austin. I know we see a little bit, but not in bulk like I'd like to see. So if you're out there and wanting to develop a modern home community, call me up and let's go do it.
Yeah, there are a lot that are trying. They're doing, what is it, the mid-century modern. You see a lot. That's a big trend right now, mid-century modern.
It is.
Oh yeah, I put myself on mute. Sorry about that.
Because you're ripping them over there.
Oh man, I said so many good things. Oh my gosh, so many good things. Thanks for catching that.
I was gonna say it's 2 minutes, 2 minutes to 9 before you can start doing that.
Jeremy is just
Simple
over there
time.
giving passwords to all his financial logins.
Yeah, he is sharing it on the screen.
Sharing on the screen.
Am I?
No.
What the hell's going on?
Just joking.
A-frames. MLS data.
I did find that. Where was this comment? I just clicked on it. Whoa, why is there feedback? Who am I getting feedback from?
Not me.
Ooh.
Was it you?
Sarah.
Ian?
It's Sarah.
It's me.
Yeah, it's good. Turn off your volume for a second. Hello? Is it me? See, it was you. There was a comment up here about driving 15 minutes in to Leander from Treviso. That's kind of still my same. Everybody asks me why I don't really crap on Easton Park, why I'm not a big fan of Easton Park. It's kind of the same thing. So Easton Park, you have the same problem going on, right? You're 15 minutes from everything. There's really nothing to do, nothing to eat out there. So you have to drive in, and you got to like that drive in. I looked up Treviso the other day. I don't understand the hype. Thank you, Anna.
Well, hold on.
Jeez.
I am going to say one thing about it. If you look at pictures, it is almost always different than if you're there when it comes to the topography of the land. So I would say if you've been there, it feels different. Because I don't care either. Just like if you're looking at a house, a lot of people will put in offers sight unseen, but there's some people that have to go there. They have to feel it, walk it, smell it, all that. It's just not the same.
I went out there and met with the developer at Mid-Century. He's an interesting fella. Him and the agent he works with, she's really cool. I like her a lot. He was definitely very proud of his product.
Yeah.
Not that it was a bad product, just very proud. I had some clients that were looking at some lots out there, and they were not very. I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad deal. Just he was very, very proud of the product. That's not a bad thing. Just proud of his product. Living in Easton Park now. The drive-in sucks. William Cannon. Hold on, let me do that again. Living in Easton Park now. The drive-in sucks. William Cannon is gross on the other side of 35. I didn't say it. He said it. I'm just reading what he wrote. But yeah, that's my problem with Easton Park. It's not bad. It's just there's not a lot over there. I do have a friend that owns the lot right behind it, which is 240 acres, which is sweet. He's got a rock crushing plant out there, shoots hogs and on deer and all that good stuff out there. Pretty sweet. Anyway, sorry. Dudes, hey, there's a lady on here, Master.
Ladies can be dudes.
Y'all, come on, this guy must not be from Austin or from Texas. Y'all, my house in Bastrop is up 50K in 2 months. Bastrop is blown up.
What does that mean up? Right? Like
it's up from where he blowing up.
Like current retail value.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The investment property I'm under contract in New Braunfels, which New Braunfels is far, is up from where I purchased it. Base price is up another like 40 grand, which is crazy.
There you go. If you're talking about, base price of the new build, that makes sense to me. Like if they are selling it at that price, but we don't know until they close what they're actually selling it at.
Calaterra, the land of 2.9% tax rates. That's why we don't like Treviso. Like, welcome to the club. That's why I don't like Easton Park. 3% tax rate. Packed in little sardines and power lines right above the estate section. But hey, it's got Cali in the name, so someone is going to buy it. I like Calaterra. I would not crap on Calaterra. I mean, as far as like driving into a really cool community, I like it. But yeah, 2.9% tax rate. I have clients that just bought in there. They got a killer deal. I mean, under 500, huge house, back in a greenbelt. I mean, I don't know. Thoughts? Anyone?
I actually don't mind. I mean, I think it's all relative, right? If somebody wasn't willing to pay it, these places would not exist. Right. So, but they're full of people, and some of them don't even care. Some people actually don't care about the same things that we all care about, maybe nearly as much.
Like they're like, okay, I mean, you can't. One thing I've learned over the course of this year, truthfully speaking, is like my opinion about something is definitely not, it's our opinions about things are definitely not gospel. For every person that believes one thing, somebody else believes something completely different. So for you, that might be a ridiculous place to live because you wouldn't choose that. But for other people, they might see the glass half full. They might like it because it's close to their work, or they like that it has a cool green belt, access to Barton Creek, and they like the little community center. So for them, it really works. So, I never assume for my clients whether they're going to like or not like. You just put the options on the table and let them decide what they want.
Yeah. Well, and also for those communities, if the tax rate is at that point, most likely they have a MUD or something there where it'll gradually decrease over time. So that's also something to consider. If you're looking at tax rate, look and see what's contributing to that tax rate as well.
And if that MUD is improving your quality of life, like here's an example. If you absolutely want to have a gas appliances, like a gas oven, and you're paying a higher tax rate just because the developer had to offset that cost, well, you're getting your oven. So that's a value.
Well, that one guy just said and trust me, I'm not crapping on anyone from bringing up these things. Like, $75,000 a year taxes in a $2.5 million home. Like, I understand that, but like they bought that house knowing that was the case and they can afford it. Right. Yeah. If they can afford it, like for you, they might say that because you don't want to pay that. You're not willing to pay that much for it. But like anything else, it's kind of the answer to our whole question tonight is like, it's not too late for somebody. I mean, if it's maybe too late for you because it doesn't fit your current financial goals to buy a house in Austin, but somebody else, it will fit their goals, and that their desire to live here is going to be enough that the cost is going to be relative to their desire, and they'll be willing to pay whatever the cost is to fulfill that desire. And that's always going to be true, right? No matter what the prices are for homes here, that's always going to be true. For somebody, the cost is the satisfaction of being here is greater than the cost that it takes to be
here. Christina Smallhorn. Yes, we're all going. See people hanging around for 2 to 3 hours for this crazy show. Why? I have no idea. Maybe it's because Master Jedi likes Sarah so much now.
Yeah.
Master Jedi, should she be the fourth Migo? That's the question. Big Sky Ranch is up a lot. Yep. Big Sky Ranch is a good spot. Big Sky Ranch has a pretty low tax rate, right, Kevin? It's like average.
Big Sky is no, I don't know that that's true about Big Sky.
It's over there in Dripping, right?
Arrowhead Ranch is low twos. Arrowhead Ranch does not have a MUD rate.
For some reason, I thought Big Sky Ranch was. Anyway,
let me tell you. I'll tell you in just a second.
Master Jedi saying stuff again. Welcome back. I bought a house on the east side in February. First house we looked at. First offer we made, offered a little under, and it got accepted. Don't think that will ever happen again in Austin. Yeah, I had a client buy a $1.4 million place, $1.45 million place in Zilker that had an A and B unit on it. That was like the craziest deal like we've ever had. That guy's renting that out, the front part, $15,000 a month on Airbnb, and the back unit making $2,000 a month.
Yeah, that's
Isn't that nuts?
Jeremy, you're right. It's 2.25.
Boom, nailed it.
There
you go. 2.15. I think it's actually 2. Whatever. It's low.
2.25.
Yeah, Silverman's saying 2.1.
Depends on
2.25 according to MLS.
We don't stop. Hey, Sarah, what about High Point? I hear that's a great place to live.
Love it. It's an amazing place to live. I've actually seen more resale, like several resales pop up in the market in High Point over the last couple of weeks, which has been surprising. But the amount that homes are going for now in High Point versus 2 years ago is nuts to me. Like there's one that's like over $1 million.
Well, yeah, there's actually, there's listings over there. I just recently in Belterra for easily over $1 million right now, and they're under contract.
Well, think about that too. So the property taxes are going to go up. Somebody asked a question about at what point do they have legislation? I think was the question. I'll have to go back and find it. But to lower property taxes, what it's going to take is a lot of people complaining to their elected officials to make that change. Otherwise, they're just going to keep going up. The problem is, if you think about it, like I know there was an article in Dallas that like residents in Dallas were finally like, what the heck? But, you know, taxes aren't as high in Houston. They're not as high in San Antonio. They're not as high as in Dallas. But Austin is unique that we have crazy high property values, which means our taxes are high. So it's going to take a lot of people outside of, which is crazy too, because we're the capital, but it's going to take a lot of people outside finally saying, hey, our taxes are crazy. All of our family in El Paso is complaining about their taxes going up. That's El Paso.
Yeah.
Like that's really gone up in El Paso too.
I think Houston's higher.
So in
The
Houston,
tax rate's higher, but their values aren't as high.
Oh, right. Yeah.
well, and then tax rates, because I have clients in Houston and along the coast, and you just have to be really careful because of the flood, right? So you, depending on where you're buying, you have your regular tax and then you have flood tax. And then, so there are a lot of times where the overall tax ends up being a lot more expensive than here because they might be in a floodplain.
Disproportionate.
Yeah. Yeah, the floodplain is a problem. Lady V, good question. When are they going to fix the Wyatt Oak Hill? It's funny because, and this is why I was complaining to the mayor of Travis Mitchell. Yeah. Is that, you know, they put in the 4 lanes going down to Kyle, and I was complaining, and he said, oh, TxDOT didn't help us. So I understand that. It was great having him on. Yep. But the Wyatt Oak Hill, like they've already fixed it once and put that stupid diverging diamond, and now they're going to have to go in and put in overpasses. My friend's actually doing a lot of the work on that. They're taking like 2 million cubic yards of dirt out of that place. It's crazy. So I don't know, 10, 15, 20 years, maybe 30 years.
As a point of reference, they started working on the stuff at the Y when I was like 7. So, and they
and you're 23 right now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Lovely 23.
Yeah.
But it's just Austin construction. It's always like 10 years behind at least. Like, you know, it was that whole, if we don't build it, they won't come. Plus, you know, it just takes forever to get projects done here. But I feel like we're always going to be 10 years behind on everything.
Yeah. Well, all right. We've hit well over 2 hours. I'm good there. I hope you all are doing well. I'm beat. So, all right. Thank you for joining. We'll catch you on the next one. Have an amazing night. See ya.
Bye, guys.
Bye.